and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us on the long form story. Starting tonight, every Saturday at 9 p.m, we at Republic TV and the Republic Media Network will bring you three major stories from the week. Shaped through field reporting, lived experiences, hard-earned facts, deep journalistic perspective, and editorial rigor. This show is not about opinion, it's about what's unfolding on the ground. The stories that deserve time, space, and depth. And on the long-form story tonight, we go inside Operation BlackForest. Raw footage of how India conducted the largest ever operation against Maoists, and for the first time on television, we have those pictures. We're getting you inside the lives of Pakistan's spies, the enemies within who were on Pakistan's payroll, raw reporting on who they are, where they came from, and the real story of Pakistan's internal war. The deadliest week for Pakistan as it faces over 100 attacks this week. Let's get started. Prime Minister Modi chairs the 10th NITI Aayog Governing Council meeting with all chief ministers. Citing the goal of Viksit Bharat, he urges the centre and all state governments to work together as a single team to help the country achieve its goals, reiterating his stance, saying that when every state is Viksit, then Bharat will be Viksit, and that this remains the aspiration of 140 crore citizens. This was the Prime Minister's first meeting with chief ministers of all states and lieutenant governors of union territories following the successful execution of Operation Sindoor. Another Pakistani spy in Gujarat arrested for sharing key information related to the Indian Air Force and the Border Security Force with a Pakistani agent. The accused, Sahadev Singh Gohil, is a resident of Kutch, worked as a health worker. The 28-year-old came in contact with an agent who identified herself as Aditi Bharadwaj through WhatsApp in 2023. He sent her photos, videos of the IAF and the BSF sites that were newly constructed or were under construction. Investigation continues. Border Security Force neutralizes Pakistani infiltrator in Gujarat's Banaskantha district near the India-Pakistan international boundary. BSF releases a statement outlining that the individual was attempting to advance towards the border fence. Alert BSF, who spotted a suspicious individual approaching the border fence after crossing the international border. And despite being challenged, this intruder continued to advance, prompting troops to open fire. It's the biggest ever crackdown on Red Terror in Chhattisgarh. Maoists attempting a comeback to the Kareguttala hills after back-to-back encounters, while forces now launch Phase 2 of Operation BlackForest. Sources saying approximately 800 armed Maoists could still be active in the Bastar region as forces deploy drones and high-tech equipment. Combing continues as we speak. Baloch journalist Abdul Latif Baloch shot dead by Pakistani forces in the early hours of Saturday. Initial investigation revealing he was brutally murdered at his home in the presence of wife and children. Reports suggesting that the attackers responsible were from the Pakistan Army. Muhammad Yunus could remain as the head of Bangladesh's interim government. He's received calls from China and Pakistan asking him to stay on, according to top place sources. In the heart of Chhattisgarh's Red Corridor, India's biggest and boldest anti-Maoist strike began on the 21st of April. Operation BlackForest continued alongside Operation Sindoor and went mostly unnoticed until this week. In 24 days, our CRPF bravehearts stormed the Kareguttalu hills, the fortified headquarters of the Maoist commander Basavaraju. 31 Maoist terrorists have been killed this week alone. 450 IEDs defused. Jungle hideouts, bunkers, weapon factories destroyed. This wasn't just a counter-insurgency operation, it was a message. From daring cave assaults to ending a decades-long reign of terror, our long-form story tonight takes you deep into the mission that broke the Maoist spine. On the Western Front, well, our forces stood tall against the terror nation across the border.
देखना वाम कैसी आ रही है वहाँ से अभी वीडियो कैच होगी
जी भाई ना मरकज दे विच होए ने चार सारा तबाह हो गई मरकज हाँ जी
Hitting enemy targets where it hurts. Under Operation Sindoor,
अटैक हुआ है नूर खान बेस पे बिल्कुल घर के सामने अभी एक जहाज गुजरा है और ये नूर खान बेस के ऊपर अटैक हुआ है
our CRPF jawans were involved in one of the biggest operations in recent times. To secure India internally. Operation BlackForest.
देख रहे हैं सर
Deep within the rugged terrains of South Chhattisgarh, Kuraguttaru Hill rose not just as a geographic landmark, but as the nerve center of Maoist insurgency. For decades, it served as the fortified headquarters of the People's Liberation Guerrilla Army's dreaded Battalion 1, a place where the DKSZC, TSC and CRC converged under one command. The Karigutta Hills span the southwestern reaches of Bijapur district in South Bastar, Chhattisgarh.
Well, that's right. If you see, we are in Bijapur's Korregeta Hills area. Behind me, you can see the visuals of that hill area. I would like to request my Vijay to pan and show you the visuals of that hills. Here you can see where two-phase operation was on till few days back. What we have seen that in Korregeta area, operation which was named as the Black Forest was organized by the CRPF in a joint operation with the Chhattisgarh police, in which massive success was basically obtained by our security forces, in which 31 Maoists have been neutralized.
Extending into the remote borderlands of Telangana. For decades, these dense forests have concealed a shadow war. But on the night of April 21st, the CRPF launched one of India's most audacious missions, Operation BlackForest.
नहीं सर कमांडोज आपकी बीबी के लिए हजरत शिमाल नहीं सर मैं आज बहुत अच्छा महसूस कर रहा हूँ कि हमारे पुलिस के जो योद्धा हैं उनके साथ आज मैं यहाँ खड़ा हूँ। जैसा कि मैंने आगे भी कई बार बोला, अब वो समय आ गया है कि हमें अपने देश के सामने जितनी भी भिन्न प्रकार की आतंकवादी गतिविधियाँ हैं उनको समाप्त करना है।
Dismantling a Maoist stronghold in the heart of the jungle. Meticulously planned over several months, the CRPF, in coordination with the Special Task Force and District Reserve Guard, struck at the nerve center of Maoist operations. The Kariguttalu Hills home to over 250 cave formations. What you're seeing are the very cave complexes used as hideouts by Maoist terrorist Basavaraju. While the nation was glued to Operation Sindoor, our forces silently executed India's most decisive anti-Maoist operation, destroying 52 Maoist dump sites, 152 bunkers and 12 hideouts.
उसको फिर जमा करने काम नहीं करेगा
कहाँ जमा करेगा उसको यहाँ पूरा वो करो एक जन वीडियो करो ठीक है
It doesn't end there. Over 24 days, security forces neutralized 31 Maoists and dismantled 4 underground weapons factories.
मोटर की तरफ की इस तरफ
फेंक दो पहले
जो एरिया सैनिटाइज नहीं है उस एरिया में नहीं जाना है समझ गए इसके ऊपर डाल दो और तुम्हारे कदम के 2 कदम आगे आईडी लगाओ उसका भी ध्यान देना मुझे
उसको बुझ जाएगा वहाँ तक मैं पेट्रोल डाला
delivering a crippling blow to the Maoist insurgency.
मेरे को दिखाना फोटो खींच के इसके बाद कार्रवाई करनी यार बोला फटाफट
Navigating through 450 IEDs and surviving 15 explosions, the forces discovered weapon manufacturing units producing IEDs and barrel grenade launchers deep within the jungle. Operation BlackForest was just the beginning. The elimination of Basavaraju, the highest-ranking Maoist terrorist neutralized in over 3 decades, marks a major turning point in India's battle against left-wing extremism.
The southern belt, which is of the Bastar division, in that Bastar division where 7 districts include Kondagaon. If you talk about in Kondagaon, there was another operation which was being held few days back. So at this point in time, there are 3 different operations of our security forces which is going on. Here you can see behind me the Karuguta Hills area where the operation of our security forces is still on with the Maoists.
In 2010, 76 CRPF personnel were ambushed and killed in Dantewada, a dark chapter in India's counter-insurgency history. This week, that massacre was avenged. Chhattisgarh Special Forces neutralized the mastermind behind the Dantewada attack, closing a 14-year-long pursuit for justice. Operation BlackForest was not just a mission. It was a message, a declaration that the era of fear is over. In the heart of the Red Corridor, the forest is silent. But the silence now belongs to peace, not fear. This was not just a battle for territory. It was a battle for the soul of a nation, and the nation has spoken. And joining me on the show this evening is Mr. P. Sundar Raj. He's the IG of Bastar. First of all, Mr. Sundar Raj, congratulations on Operation BlackForest. But I want to start by asking you, is the operation over?
Thank you very much for having me over the program. So last couple of months have been very decisive for not only Bastar region, for the entire LW affected regions in the country. The last 30 days, we have two major operations. One was along Chhattisgarh, Telangana interstate border area, the Operation BlackForest, which covered the Karagutulu hills of Bijapur district. During this operation, we have recovered more than 31 Naxal dead bodies in various encounters, and we have demolished various Naxal hideouts, particularly 4 Naxal indigenous factories, which they used to fabricate local IEDs, local BGL shells, and other weapons, which they used to harm the security forces. Not only the security forces, but also the native population. Many innocent civilians, they got killed because of the IEDs being planted by the Naxals. So this Koragutul Hill operations was a very decisive one. After that, in the Abujamar jungles on 21st of May, we had another very crucial operation. During this operation, DRG teams, they neutralized CPI Maoist General Secretary, who is the #1 top Maoist cadre in the entire country. He carries more than 3 crores booty over his head, and he was instrumental in various hundreds and hundreds of violent incidents throughout the country. So our security forces, they could neutralize the top Maoist rank in the country. And with the end of Basavaraju, we are certain that this Maoist formation is coming to an end, and it has no future. And other Maoist cadres, they're fleeing away from their Maoist camps, and they're coming in large number to surrender before the state. And we are seeing an end to this 6-decade-old long Naxal menace.
Congratulations on eliminating Basavaraj, Mr. Sundar Raj. But how many more Maoist cadres remain in this region? Because we had some numbers that came in earlier today. How many more Maoists remain?
The Maoist organization, it is breathing its last. If you see, like, the Maoist formation have like top cadres in the form of Central Committee members and Politburo members. Among these 20 Central Committee and Politburo members, the last 3 to 4 years, more than half of them, they have been neutralized in various exchange of fire, and they have been arrested. Few of them, they got surrendered. To name few of them, the CPM Maoist General Secretary Basavaraju, alias BR Dada, alias Ganganna, he has been neutralized by the security forces in the Abujamar jungles on 21st of May. And before that, in January 2025, another Central Committee member, Chalpadi, he got neutralized in Chhattisgarh Garhiyaband district. Earlier, CPM Maoist Central Committee member Deepak Tel Tumade, his dead body has been recovered. And in the last couple of years, 4 Central Committee members, they died in Bastar region because of other various reasons, like those names included Ramanna, Ramkrishna, Haribhushan, Kadkam Sudarshan. And the #2 in the Maoist formation, Prashant Bose, he got arrested in Jharkhand area along with his wife, Sheila Marandi, who herself is a Central Committee member. That way, like the last few years, like more than half of the Central Committee members, they have been either neutralized in various operations, or they have been arrested, or they have surrendered. So the Maoist formation is depleted in strength. In the lower level formation, hundreds and hundreds of Maoist cadres, they have fled away from the Maoist hideouts. They have surrendered before the state, not only in Bastar, in the other parts of the country also. Large number of Maoist cadres, they have come forward to shun violence and join the national mainstream. So this Maoist organization, they're shrinking both in the numbers as well as in the area of influence. So now only very handful of regular armed Maoist cadres are left in the LW affected areas of the country. And we are hopeful of bringing this menace to a logical end very soon than expected.
My final question to you, Mr. Sundar Raj. What is your message to those people, and there are some political parties who say, don't kill Maoists, talk to them? What is your response to these politicians?
Whatever action be taken in the anti-Naxal front, it is within the frame of the Constitution. It is within the frame of all the legal instructions, legal framework, the law of the country. So whenever we go out for an operation, that is our fundamental duty to protect the lives and properties of the native population. For that purpose, we go out for search operations. It is only when the Naxals, they fire upon the security forces or they target the security forces, then we retaliate in self-defense. So still, right now, Maoists have an option to shun violence and come forward, surrender before the state, then they can join the mainstream. But if they decide to carry arms in the jungle to target the security forces or to target innocent civilians, in the last so many years, more than 2,000 innocent civilians, they got killed because of the CPI Maoist violent activities. More than 1,400 of our Jawans, they have made their supreme sacrifice because of the Naxal incidents. So someone decides to carry weapon, to carry ID in the jungle and target the security forces and the innocent civilians, then law will take its own course. But still the Maoists have an option, whether it's a central committee member or it is a divisional committee member or even a militia cadre, the grassroots level functioning of the Maoist cadres, they have an option to come forward and surrender before the state. We never intend to harm anyone. If they come, we welcome them, we rehabilitate them, and we make them part of the mainstream for peace and progress of this region. So whatever action is being taken, it is well within the legal and constitutional framework. And I would like to mention the commitment of the security forces here, the DRG, Buster Fighters, STF, Central Paramilitary Forces like CRPF, BSF, ITBP, SSB, Cobra, Chhattisgarh Armed Force. They are all very committed to bring an end to this decades-long Naxal menace. And they are committed to give a new identity to Bastar region, a positive identity. Even the local native population, they want a new and positive identity for the region. So we are hopeful of achieving this target. Both Government of India as well as the state government, they are very committed to bring in peace and prosperity to Bastar region. And we are hopeful of achieving this target very sooner than expected.
Mr. Sundar Raj, a big salute to all the forces who are behind this operation and who've been battling Maoist terrorists for so many decades now. Thank you, sir, for joining us and for your service. Thank you.
I would like to take this opportunity I would like to take this opportunity to appreciate the hard work of the security personnel like DRG, Buster Fighter, STF, and other all paramilitary forces who are committed for this cause, and their morale is right now very high. And I would like to appreciate the efforts of the native population also. They want an end to this Naxal menace, which is nothing but a mindless violent organization, a mindless violent group of cadres, and their numbers are counted. And we are very sure, like within another few days, we can see the end of this Naxal organization, and we can have a peaceful and prosperous Bastar very soon.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, and Jai Hind. Thank you very much. From the sacred ghats of Varanasi to the power corridors of Delhi, a silent betrayal has been unfolding. As our forces pummeled Pakistan in Operation Sindoor, one man roamed the heart of Bharat, quietly photographing temples, ghats, prayer sites. His name, Muhammad Tufail. His mission, espionage. He was allegedly recruited by Pakistan's ISI. He walked the streets while feeding coordinates to the enemy. But now his masquerade has ended. Republic unmasks the spy next door. A sari shop worker by day, a messenger of Ghazwa-e-Hind by design. Our long form takes you into the life of this Pakistani spy.
the center of political power since 50 BC, the capital of India, the seat of its government and the residence of the Supreme Commander of Bharat's forces. A sinister undercover traitor, bred and fed in this land, roams the streets of Varanasi and Delhi as Operation Sindoor pummels Pakistan. His job is to surreptitiously survey key landmarks where Indians gather to pray and then pass them on to his ISI handlers in Pakistan.
We are standing here inside the Jama Masjid. Jama Masjid has in total 8 gates. However, it invites visitors via 3 main gates. Gate number 1, gate number 2 and gate number 3. And we have entered inside the Jama Masjid using gate number 1. Now we talk about the security here. The security is fortress tight. Hundreds of CCTV cameras sweep the grounds. Police patrol the perimeter and metal detectors guard each entrance. Now, inside this Jama Masjid is a courtyard that can hold up to more than 25,000 worshippers who come here on a daily basis to offer their prayers. And this made one of the most vulnerable points to be pictured by Tufail. This is the way via you can get inside that courtyard. Tufail, a master of deception, posed as a devotee, his phone snapping critical vantage point, the 40-meter minarets offering panoramic views of Delhi's defences, the prayer halls, arched entrances revealing crowd flow. And these images shared with his Pakistani contacts could map the mosque's weak points for chaos.
This is a very serious matter, insidious to say the least, and must compliment the UP ATS for arresting Mohammad Tufail and others. When I say others, it will include Shahzad and Mohammad Harun as well. The incriminating material that has been recovered in a very short span of time, his communication with 600 plus people in Pakistan, and one of them happens to be the wife of an army officer. Then his collection of extremely sensitive material and also critical infrastructure. Among the sensitive, it will be the Gyan Bapi area, as also the Ram Ghat and the other sensitive areas like the Shah Sumaid Ghat and the places of pilgrimage.
The Uttar Pradesh anti-terror squad picked Mohammad Tufail up from Varanasi's downtown Doshipura area.
एटीएस ने वाराणसी से तुफैल को गिरफ्तार किया है। दरअसल 2 दिन पहले वाराणसी में ये तुफैल का घर है। इस घर पर एटीएस की टीम पहुंचती है। उस दौरान तुफैल यहाँ मौजूद नहीं था। एटीएस की टीम उसके परिजनों से पूछताछ करती है। तुफैल के एक भाई ने हमें पूरी कहानी बताई। पूछताछ के दौरान भी तुफैल यहाँ मौजूद नहीं होता है, जिसके 2 दिन बाद तुफैल यहाँ वापस आता है और एटीएस की टीम उसे लेकर यहाँ से जाती है।
कल रात को हमें मालूम हुआ था कि उसकी गिरफ्तारी के बारे में। उसके पहले हमें मालूम नहीं था। ठीक है, उसके 2 दिन पहले एटीएस वाले आए थे, उसको उनके हवाले कर दिया गया था। वो बाहर था, घर पे नहीं था जब वो आए थे।
पहले एटीएस वाले आए थे, आप लोगों से बात करके गए थे?
बात करके
क्या बताया था एटीएस वाले?
बताया कुछ नहीं थे। बताया थे कि इनके जो है सोशल मीडिया पे कुछ लिंक मिल रहे हैं, तो उनकी जाँच करनी है। ठीक है, हम लोगों ने कहा ठीक है, आप ले जाइए, जाँच करिए। अगर ऐसा कुछ पाया जाता है तो जो कार्रवाई होगी वो कार्रवाई करिएगा।
What was Tufail's purpose behind these reconnaissance missions? A medieval utopia. Ghazwa-e-Hind, say the investigators.
The purpose in one line would be waging war against the state, espionage, and giving sensitive material to an enemy rogue state that is Pakistan. Make no mistake about it, Ghazwa-e-Hind happens to be the topmost priority of Mohammad Tufail. So I would say that he was connecting this material to enemy hand so that India could be bled by 1,000 cuts, as is their game plan, and also to have a feel of the vulnerable areas where they could possibly attack with maximum advantage.
अरे उनके घर के हमारे 4 मकान बाद ही हमारा मकान है। 10-15 साल से तो यहीं पे वो रहता है और मोहल्ले में मतलब हम लोगों के सामने तो कोई ऐसी बात नहीं होता था, लेकिन ये उसमें संगीन वो था, बराबर ही बाहरी लोग आते थे, बाहरी लोग ले जाते
क्या
थे।
वो लोग आते थे, क्या बातचीत किया करते थे? आप लोग तो बड़े
ये सब तो भैया हम लोग के सामने तो वो बात करेंगे नहीं। कल से तो हम लोग एकदम सन्न रह गए कि बताइए हम लोग के घर के पास में ही ऐसा हो रहा है। अगर कहीं बाहर होता तो बात भी ये हुआ है, हम लोग के घर के एकदम जस्ट बगल में ही ऐसा हो रहा है।
अच्छा, कितना भीड़ आती थी उसके घर पर कि कदुका लोग आते?
हाँ, बराबर आती थी, 10 आदमी 20 आदमी बराबर आते थे।
मोदी जी सांसद हैं आपके, क्या उनसे कहिएगा सुरक्षा के लिए क्या अपेक्षा करिएगा?
एकदम यही कहेंगे कि भैया यहाँ के घर के दुश्मनों से बचाइए। यहाँ पे टोटल ज़्यादातर आदमी गजवा हिंद में लगे हुए हैं और उसको अंजाम देने के लिए एकदम पूरा एकदम ये लोग तुले हुए हैं।
45-year-old Tufail is a salesman in a small shop selling the famous Varanasi saris in Doshipura.
वाराणसी के उसी घर पर हम मौजूद हैं जहां तुफैल रहते हैं। तुफैल के ऊपर पाकिस्तान के लिए जासूसी का आरोप है। ये तुफैल का घर है। तो इस घर के बाहर ही ये एक बोर्ड लगा हुआ है जिसपे हिंद सिल्क क्रिएशंस लिखा हुआ है। ये वो दुकान है जिसमें तुफैल अपने भाइयों के संग रहा करते थे, अपने भाइयों के संग काम किया करते थे, साड़ियाँ बेचा करते थे। तुफैल की गतिविधियाँ हमेशा से संदिग्ध स्थानीय लोगों का कहना है रही हैं। उनके परिजन भी कह रहे हैं कि वो हमेशा अपने मोबाइल में ही डूबे रहते थे, मोबाइल का इस्तेमाल करते थे, पर मोबाइल में वो किससे बात कर रहे थे ये तमाम जानकारी सामने कभी आई नहीं।
Tufail used to be in touch with a Pakistani army officer's wife on WhatsApp, passing on the key details and pictures of the places he was asked to recce. He wanted to avenge Babri Masjid, the UP police says.
A supposed feeling of being persecuted. What Babri Masjid is history. Babri Masjid in itself, let us not go into a different debate. But the Supreme Court has given a verdict on the entire matter. And as law-abiding Indians, it's everybody's job to respect whatever the finding and the judgment has been given by the Honorable Supreme Court. And anyone who feels otherwise has no place in India or who does not respect the Constitution of India. Those who feel Ghazwa Hind as the first priority have no place in India.
इसकी बैकग्राउंड स्टोरी की अगर बात करें तो तमाम स्थानीय लोगों का ऐसा कहना है कि वो ज़्यादा लोगों से बातचीत नहीं करता था, अपने फ़ोन में ही मशगूल रहता था। परिजन भी ऐसा कह रहे हैं कि वो फ़ोन ही चलाया करता था। फ़ोन में वो किससे क्या बात करता था ये जानकारी परिजनों को भी नहीं है, स्थानीय लोगों को भी नहीं है। उसके फ़ोन से तमाम ऐसे विजुअल्स मिले हैं जिसमें गजवाए हिंद से जुड़ी जानकारियाँ शेयर की जा रही हैं। तमाम पाकिस्तान से जुड़े हैंडलर्स के वो संपर्क में हैं। पाकिस्तान के इन हैंडलर्स से वो जानकारी लेकर स्थानीय वाराणसी के तमाम व्हाट्सएप ग्रुपों पे उन जानकारियों को फॉरवर्ड करने का काम वो किया करता था। इसके अलावा एटीएस ने जो जानकारी दी है उसके पास कॉन्टेक्ट्स तमाम पाकिस्तान से जुड़े हुए लोगों के हैं। इसके अलावा वो पाकिस्तान के कुछ महिलाओं से भी संपर्क में है जिनके डायरेक्ट कनेक्शन वहाँ की सेना के जुड़े लोगों से है।
About 4 kilometers from Doshipura, some of Varanasi's ghats were also Tufail's targets. Known to many as the Khirkiya Ghat of old, in 2019, Prime Minister Narendra Modi launched its renovation. Today, tourists from across the country and the world watch dawn break over Varanasi from here. Tufail is now being interrogated by Uttar Pradesh's ATS.
So this catch of Mohammed Tufail is a major catch, and I would certainly say that a very deep probe would be required. With 14 days of police remand, I would feel that yes, the sister agencies could come together and have a structured interrogation and follow-up.
Was Tufail a lone ranger? From the number of Pakistani spies that the police and agencies are netting every day, it seems like a very intricate syndicate of Mir Jafars from across India. Irrespective of language, religion, they were selling national interest off for a few pennies.
And Republic will keep unmasking these traitors and bringing them before you, the viewer. Watch out for our coverage all of next week. Let me introduce Vikram Singh, former UP DGP, joining us on the show this evening. Mr. Singh, how many such spies live among us in your experience?
Very difficult question to answer. I would say that immediately after Operation Sindoor, 14 arrests from 4 states. This is just the tip of the iceberg. You can add a couple of zeros beyond that and much, much more than that. It is something that has happened when there was absolutely proactive efforts made by the intelligence agencies right across the country. And as in your opening was said, cutting across all language and community barriers, it cuts across all faiths. And we have people, we will go into that later. But yes, the number of people who have been arrested for espionage is indeed shocking to say the least. But as the probe progresses, you can rest assured that an incisive probe would lead to further arrests, recoveries, and sensational recoveries. You can see that this man, Mohammed Tufail himself, 45-year-old, and looks to be a simpleton, but he's anything but simple. He is very much a snake in the grass, and 600 contacts in Pakistan, and then having contacts indirectly with their wives to the army officers, and then capturing, you know what? Capturing those specific areas, Rajghat, Gyanbapi area, the masjid area, and such sensitive areas, the critical infrastructure, the same areas that were targeted by Jyoti Malhotra also. It is not that they were, therefore the dots seem to be adding up together to give you a complete picture. All these were handled and targeted and given the task to pick up sensitive areas so that during the time of need, the sleeper cells could be activated and then these vulnerable areas could be attacked. Therefore, the insidious plot has been uncovered and the snakes in the grass have been not only been identified, but defanged, to say the least. Now that these people are in police custody, a 14-day police remand subjected to lie detector test, follow-up, and also a close forensic analysis of their gadgets and also the forensic examination of their bank accounts, their receipts, their expenditure, and their travel details would reveal so much that I think the intelligence agencies will have to have worked round the clock and put their best foot forward to uncover the insidious designs of the likes of Danish, the Pakistan embassy, and the deep state that ISI is.
Thank you, Mr. Singh, for joining us on the show this evening. And on to our third story on the show. It's a story that that are mostly pro-Pakistan Western media has ignored. But this development could redraw Pakistan's map. Tonight, we take you deep inside Pakistan's war within, where forgotten and exploited regions have declared an all-out war against the Pakistani state. They're armed with conviction, modern weaponry, chilling precision. The Baloch rebels are striking harder and louder than ever before, and they're being joined by many more within Pakistan. Hijacked trains, IED ambushes, coordinated raids, all caught on camera. This is no longer a silent struggle, it's a war unfolding in real time, and it's not just Balochistan. From Sindh to the Torkam border, the fault lines have widened in the last 1 week. What you're about to see is unfiltered and it's unfolding in real time. Our long-form story on Pakistan's deadliest week.
वैनो द जंग नना दा जो अंदोनो हालत से बसुने की नने सख्त फैसला इफोई तमिंग गटिए ऐनो नना वरनाक दा गिड़ा की तैयार मसुनो और ऐनो नना वरना दा समझेंगे ठीक है नने बगैर दा फैसला आतेन मुनाइनिंग के पेनी चुका सर सफ पूरा तूब का दारगा पतूब के ज़रूरत है और तूब के गुआंग नवान दे अबरो पुजी मरोशी बलोच वरनात का ई अंदा फैसला कुतंगा के आवती सरुसा परवान कना दुश्मन सर रवा ई दी हालत वजह जोड़ गई थी मर्शी के हस्ते अगर पिसे वती बच्चा दे दिया गया अमा अंदा या पिसे वती बच्चा यला दिया गया रवा गया वती दूध से चुका यला दिया गया पवती काजा रवा गया कुर्बान भी गया ये कुर्बानी पदी तक के अमा मकसद हस्ते अमा मकसद के हस्ते बाज मुकद्दस है अमा मकसद जवानिया सरपत भी है और अमा मकसद हिफाजत करनगी है अमा मकसद अपजोत करनगी है.
Their future snatched, their children abducted, their women murdered. Balochistan's uprising against Pakistan is in a decisive stage.
कुर्बान माले कुर्बान माल मार कुर्बान बाहर देख लो नहीं मारेंगे रेलाई जे की संगत में छोड़ेगा नीचे कुर्बान होना और रेलाई जे की संगत में छोड़ेगा जान दो ये क्लियर है ايش انا شفتمو के बामोना तू कर दाद दाखो जी इधर से तो पता करता हूं Ingo choshu da padda tabay fawjiyo. Neshe ingo way reshe ingo padda tabay.
Tactics have changed. The Baloch rebels are better armed, more technologically equipped. Edgy videos like this one of the Jafar Express attack, 34 minutes 15 seconds, published in their entirety in the last 1 week. The aim is to strike fear in the Pakistan army.
दुनिया के अंदर बलोच के सच को दबा दिया जा रहा है कि बलोच उस स्टेट तक पहुंच चुका है कि अपनी दुश्मन को पहचान चुका है कि दुश्मन मेरी कौन है. दुश्मन और सिर्फ जीएचक्यू रावलपिंडी और पंजाब है.
As India struck 12 air bases in Pakistan on the 9th of May in Operation Sindoor, Baloch rebels had taken control of highways, AK-47s in their hand, the flag of a free Balochistan around their shoulders as they made strategic gains in Panjgur.
When it comes to the Baloch, the Punjabi Muslim army has a visceral hatred for the Baloch. And that hatred is reciprocated by the Baloch with the Punjabi Muslim. Because the Baloch sees the Punjabi Muslim as an exploiter, as somebody who's a crook, as somebody who has tortured them, somebody who has grabbed their resources. You know, all of that. So it's that visceral hatred which they share for the Punjabi Muslim, I think is reciprocated from both sides, right? So you need to look at how the Pakistani Punjabi Muslim army looks at the Taliban and how they look at the Baloch. Now, the same army looks at the Sindhi somewhat differently. The Sindhi they see as somebody who can very easily be bullied.
14 Pakistani soldiers were eliminated in this strike alone. Reduced to target practice for raining atrocities on the people of Balochistan. This attack was carried out on the 15th of May. Meticulously planned to target a Pakistan armoured vehicle. From planting of the IED to the execution, the Baloch rebels have it on tape. Balochistan accounts for 64% of Pakistan's landmass. It's a gold mine for rare earth minerals. China has an interest in this region, and that's why anyone who speaks against the exploitation simply disappears.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम, मैं फातिमा बलोच। कल रात 2:30 बजे मेरे भाई अहमद बलोच को उठा के ले गए। हमारे घर के सामने 40-50 गाड़ियां खड़े हुए थे और 40-50 बंदे थे। जब हम लोग वहाँ पर गए, हम लोगों ने देखा कि क्या हो रहा है। मेरे अम्मी रो रही थी। अम्मी ने मेरे भाई को अपने गले लगा कर पकड़ा हुआ था कि मेरे बेटे ने क्या गुनाह किया है, क्या उसको लेकर जा रहे हो। फिर उसने बोला ये लोग सर नहीं मानेंगे।
800 kilometers away in Sindhu Desh, there's an uprising. A Pakistan minister's home has been torched. Pakistan army tanks have rolled onto the streets.
So yes, there is a Sindhu Desh movement. It's not a very big movement, at least from what is available in the public domain. What we can make out is it's not a huge movement, but what they have started doing is that recently when the BRAS, the Baloch Raji Sanghi Muchi, when these guys set up their, when they set up the brass, they announced that there were 5 groups which were part of this brass thing, which was going to unleash a new wave of attacks in Pakistan. That included the Sindhu Desh movement. So in a sense, they are making common cause with the Baloch. It's a small movement, but they're making common cause, and that kind of makes it, gives them a kind of a force multiplier effect.
दोस्तों पुलिस सारे आम शेलिंग करी रही है ऐं ही शहीद मर पियो आहे जंहिं ते पुलिस सारे आम शेलिंग करे पई ही तव्हां ॾिसी सघो था सारे आम पुलिस जा अटियाला केतिरी पुलिस आयल आहे ही तव्हां ॾिसी सघो था केतिरी पुलिस आयल आहे ही ॾिसो तव्हां केतिरी पुलिस आयल आहे ही तव्हां ॾिसी सघो था औरते अचो ही तव्हां ॾिसी सघो था ऐं सरियाम आंसू गैस ऐं शेलिंग कई वई आहे
1,400 kilometers from Sindh, there's an uneasy calm at the Torkham border at the Durand line. The ceasefire here has lasted 2 months so far, and Pakistan is sending the Afghans back.
जहाँ मैं खड़ा हूँ ये तोरखम प्लेस से जो ड्यूरल लाइन के नज़दीक जो अफगानिस्तान पाकिस्तान का बॉर्डर है पाकिस्तान से हज़ारों अफगान रिफ्यूजी महाजिर हर रोज़ ज़बरदस्ती निकलता है और ये लोग जब डिपोर्ट हो रहा है तो तोरखम गेट से इधर आता है जहाँ मैं खड़ा हूँ ये रिफ्यूजी कैंप है जो तालिबान गवर्नमेंट ने महाजिरीन और रिफ्यूजीज के लिए बनाया उनकी फैमिली के लिए यहाँ सारे वो चीज़ें जो लोगों से हेल्प करता है हस्पताल इधर है और खाने पीने का इंतजाम इधर हो रहा है हज़ारों जो अर्जेंट खैमा लगा हुआ है ये आप जो तस्वीर में देख रहे हैं सब ये अफगान रिफ्यूजीज के लिए लेकिन ये रिफ्यूजीज से जब हमारा बात हुई इन्होंने कहा कि इनको ज़बरदस्ती निकलवाए इनका सारी चीज़ें पाकिस्तान में रह गए इनका घर का सब सामान पाकिस्तान में रह गए इनका जो दुकानें शॉप्स वगैरह ये सब चीज़ें उधर रह गए और ये लोग ज़बरदस्ती अफगानिस्तान निकलवाए
Some estimate that nearly 3 million Afghans have returned since 2023. Pakistan simply doesn't trust them.
ये जलालाबाद सिरका तोरखम बाजार ड्यूरल लाइन पे वो जगह है जो अफगान तालिबान ने रिफ्यूजी के लिए कैंप बनाया हुआ है अभी मैं ये बॉर्डर लाइन पे हूँ 2-3 किलोमीटर आगे बॉर्डर लाइन है और इधर ये जो आप देख रहे हैं जो हज़ारों की तादाद में अफगान महाजिरीन जो ज़बरदस्ती पाकिस्तान से निकलता है तो ये लोग ये कैंप में रहता है इधर इनके लिए खैमा लगा हुआ है ये लोग खाने पीने के बड़ा मुश्किल में और ये लोग अपनी फैमिली के साथ सबका चीज़ें को छोड़ कर आए हैं इनके सामान के घर के सामान इनका फ़ोन इनका जेवरात भी रह गया है लेकिन ये लोग को ज़बरदस्ती निकलवाया है और ये लोग अभी इधर ये इस कैंप में रहता है
As Afghanistan keeps the Durand line warm, Iran is watching closely. India is prepared on the eastern border. Balochistan is fighting to the finish. Sindhu Desh is rising. It's game on.
Tilak Devasher, former member National Security Advisory Board, joining us on the long form story this evening. Mr. Devasher, do you think Pakistan can survive this? Over 100 attacks as per reports in 7 days alone.
Good evening. You know, it's a very difficult question to answer because it is as yet hypothetical. The Pakistan Army, if can militarily survive, all these groups, whether it's the TTP, whether it's the BLA or the Sindhu Desh Revolutionary Army, militarily, the Pakistan Army can outgun them. Militarily, the Pakistan Army has got access to artillery as well as air power, which these groups don't have. They have now got much better small arms, but they do not have the wherewithal of armies, artillery, and air power. But the point is not military alone. You see, any country, the unity of any country, is based basically on the trust that the people have in the federation, have in the government. In 3 out of 4 provinces in Pakistan, which is the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Balochistan, and Sindh, that trust has been greatly eroded. It is almost totally eroded in Balochistan. It's eroded to a great deal in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and it is eroding in Sindh too. So I think if you rephrase your question differently, militarily, Pakistan Army can outgun these groups, but politically, they may not be able to do so.
Sindoor. And on the back of the hammering that they have received from India, how difficult will it be for Pakistan's internal security situation?
Certainly, they've taken a hit. I mean, everybody has been looked at the 4 days exchanges and how India secured a decisive victory in the air. So it is a big setback for Pakistan's prestige, and it will embolden all these groups that, Pakistan Army is vulnerable. It's not all that big a professional force that they made it out to be. And we can certainly get the better of the Pakistan Army on the ground ourselves. So it's going to be, plus the demoralizing effect on the Pakistan Army itself, on these exchanges with India. So I think this is going to be an important factor going ahead.
Mr. Tilak Devasher, thank you for joining us on the long form story this evening. That's it on this Saturday edition of the long form story. Headlines continue here on Republic TV. Thanks for watching.